Illustration rares continue to be one of Scarlet and Violet's best additions to the TCG, and in today's video we're going to find out what the heck is going on with some of these crazy illustration rare prices. Gone up, some of them have come down. Starting off with the Dnor, one that has really gone up, and this is from Shrouded Fable, the second recent TCG set released in like late August. Started out at $25 on release, went down to $15 at its low, and then has since come up to be at a $28, pretty much a $30 card, which is insane. Over the course of a month, it's gained 76.4%, and over the course of 3 months, it's up 180% because on release it came out at like $10. And this one is awesome. It goes well, or it pairs with the Dusclops and Duskull art rare cards, and it is incredible. This happens to be one of Shrouded Fable's more expensive cards, and at $28 it is a really nice illustration rare. Pretty expensive as it's gone up a good little bit. If you bought in at 15, 10 bucks, props to you. Moving on to Groudon now from Paradox Rift, and this is one that we've covered a ton of times before, but we're going to cover it again because Groudon just continues to keep swinging up and down and up and down. And over the past month, it's actually down 1.4%. You see here, late September, it was at $51, kind of came down to 48, and is now just at 50 again. But it started the month at $51, so it's kind of just continued to go up and down, but it's in that $45 to $55 range always. It kind of seems like that's its, its range. Could maybe say it's an equilibrium point, but it's kind of always in that range, and it's always bouncing around. So if you want this card for 50 bucks, it's pretty expensive though, I'm not gonna lie. I believe this is the second most expensive illustration rare, maybe the third, but it's up there. Pretty expensive though. Moving on to one that I've pointed out before recently, the Ralt, which is actually over the course of 3 months down 1.3%. But if we take a look over the course of a year, is up 71%. If you bought this card at $9.25, you were doing well. And you can see here around May, June, it really shot up from $10 all the way up to $17 with the hype. But even with the hype dying down, wearing off, there's still a good amount of attention placed on this card, and that's why it's still a $15 card, $16 pretty much. One of the more expensive ones from Scarlet and Violet base. It's an awesome card though, I'm not gonna lie. It's beautiful, and it goes really well with the Gardevoir and the Curlia as well. Kind of like that Dusnor that we just saw. But instead that Gardevoir is a special illustration rare. It's an EX card. It's pretty nice though. Moving on to the Magikarp. This is one of the top cards of the Scarlet and Violet era. At one point it was the most expensive, I believe. Right now it's the third most expensive, and it's really tanked over the course of 3 months. Went from 129 now to 108, and that's not a huge drop off, 16%. Not a huge drop off when you compare it to 1 year when it's still up 87%. It was hovering around $57 to like $70 for the longest time last year. And then once again, April, May, it went all the way up to $140 and has since come down like 30 bucks since then. So a good chunk has been taken off of this card, but it's still pretty expensive at $108. I'm not going to lie to you. It is the most expensive illustration rare card, but it's come down a little bit. So if you were hesitant to buy it at $140, now might be the time. I'd be curious to see if it goes below $100, if it starts rising back up. I don't know, if I'm being honest. These cards like the Dusnor have gone up recently. Groudon's kind of taken a little dip. Ralt has taken a dip after the hype was done, so could go either way. I don't know. And finally, one of the singular cards that I wanted to take a look at, and that I mentioned in the 151 video, was Charmander. This one has gone crazy over the past 3 months. It's up 15%. Its low was actually at $28, and has since gained $8, now being a $36 card. This is the most expensive illustration rare out of 151. Once again, a really highly coveted set. A lot of sealed collectors, a lot of singles collectors trying to master set it. This one is the most expensive illustration rare, and it's, because it's the Charizard line, obviously, but it's a really nice illustration too. And it's just, over the course of the year, it's swung up, it's swung down, but especially mid-May-ish, it's just continued to go up. And I wouldn't be surprised if it continued to go up because of the demand for 151. With this card specifically and some of the other illustration rares from 151. Maybe not all of the illustration rares, like in the Scarlet and Violet generation, but especially those 151 cards will be interesting to see with the demand being so high and the supply being pretty low. I mean, sealed prices of 151 are pretty nuts. And I wanted to take a look at some of the other cards here. Just some of the other illustration rares. You see we got the Magikarp 108. Groudon is the second most expensive card at $50. Eevee at $46. It's kind of found $45 to be its point where it stays at. Charmander at $41. So TCG Player always messes with the prices, I feel like. And then we have this Squirtle from Stellar Crown actually at $40, which is the fifth most expensive illustration rare card. It's done really well for itself, and it's too early to say if it'll go down, if it'll continue to increase, because the set just came out like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, maybe even more than that. I have no concept of time anymore, but it's done very well. The Bulbasaur here from Stellar Crown as well at 32, top 8 card. Raichu at 34, Squirtle at 34 as well. So few of those 151 cards like the Charmander, the Squirtle, and then the Bulbasaur here at 29 have done pretty gosh darn well. And then we have a lot of cards in like the mid-early 20s with Ivysaur all the way through, Tyranitar here, all in the $20 range. A few actually being from Shrouded Fable, which is not a hugely fan favorite set. Not a lot of people like Shrouded Fable. It's got really tough pull rates. But the Houndoom, Persian, Duskull, Dnor, those are all Shrouded Fable cards. And I think the one thing that a lot of people will say about Shrouded Fable is that it knocked it out of the park with the illustration rares. The Ghastly from Temporal Forces, and here we have that Dusclops that completes the line. So yeah, a lot of these illustration rare cards are doing well. A lot of them are kind of falling off, like that Magikarp. So if you're into illustration rares, which if you're watching this, you probably are, now might not be the worst time to pick up some of the ones that you're interested in. Might want to wait on some, who knows? But I just wanted to let you know how they're doing. Hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for watching this. Appreciate you all. Peace.